Hey guys, welcome back. It is binder time. The last card I need for the first edition base set, and it was probably a pretty easy guess, but it is the Dragonair. Well, with the one spot missing. If you're familiar with base set, you probably knew it was the Dragonair. We got him. Unfortunately, not graded, just a raw copy. As always, it's not always the best option to buy a card graded. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's just not a junk slab available at the time. And the sleeves, because somebody's going to ask, perfect fit from KMC, and the hyper matte outer sleeves from KMC. Yes, as always, pretty overkill to double sleeve binder cards, but that's what we do. Also, I forgot to put the Pokemon Trader label in the back of the binder, so we'll do that as well. Then maybe we'll take a slow tour through the set itself. Make sure we got no grime and dirt. Somehow the card that didn't get graded is the one that doesn't have dirt on it. Go figure. Whether or not the grading companies put the dirt on there, they certainly. Whoever submit them and whoever graded them did not try to remove the dirt. I guess I can't really blame the grading company for not removing the dirt, because then if they damage the card, they'll have somebody angry with them. Again, I think there was a couple people commenting about they had troubles double sleeving. So if you just put it in part of the way, sometimes you get the issue that your inner sleeve kind of wants to come off. So if you have that problem, you can always just put it flat on the play mat, gently push down across the entire top evenly, and then you can just finger it down, ready to go. So we'll put him in first, and then maybe we'll even take the hollows out in order to get a good look at them. And then we can do a little tour of the labels, the graded labels at the end. I know people like to get worked up over those, so we'll take a look at those as well. We gotta remember to do so, but yeah. So very beautiful set. The original set, the artwork, no, the backgrounds and stuff do not compete with a lot of the later stuff, but you gotta remember, this is kind of what started it all. There was no crazy alternate arts, crazy anything. This was Pokemon, and then the case of the holographic ones, pretty much just, slap it on there, put some shiny crap in the background. There's a little bit of color back there, but that's about it. The Chansey, one of those, very hard to grade because of all the hollow foil on it. The Charizard here, this was a 7, and check my first Instagram post ever. If you don't know the story behind this guy, he's got like a foil line, like factory foil line going across here. But other than that, he's pretty juicy. I think maybe even could have been an 8, depending on how they treat that foil line across them. But again, binder copy, beautiful binder copy. Gotta like that. The cool part about him is that I traded 3 first edition base light packs for him and a bunch of other cards, like a full set of jungle, no symbol, a bunch of like first edition Neo and stuff like that. Like just a mix and match. I think there was also quite a bit of like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and stuff like that that went along with them. I was initially hoping that I could get both the Charizard and the Espeon and Umbreon Gold Stars. Would have been cool to get at the same time. I still don't have those. Those are much more expensive now. I mean, maybe it'll come back down a little bit more, but yeah, those are still on the list of to gets. We got the Gyarados here, and I'm not really determined to get thick and thin stamp variations. If I didn't have so much other stuff to acquire, then I'd probably consider it, but that's about it. We got the Hitmon chain. We got the Machamp, and I do have two first edition Shadowless Machamps. One I actually found after acquiring this one. I'm pretty sure the other one is the one that I had it from childhood somehow. Don't ask me how, but I had one of those. Shadowless and first edition base were not a thing in my area, and I guess in a lot of areas. Primarily like a West Coast thing, but yeah, we get the Magneton, very beautiful Magneton. Again, another one of these with so much foil on them that they're bound to get scratches or have scratches from the factory. All right, let's get into. We got the Mewtwo. Look at this bad boy. He was the last holo that I needed and was picked up recently. Pretty cool. Then we just recently, if you guys have been watching the binder crack videos, basically just going ham on those basically non-holo rares that I was missing. I got a lot of the commons and uncommons from Gary, some of the holos from Gary. The Ninetales, very beautiful Ninetales. Unfortunately, I don't have the no damage Ninetales. Any copies of the no damage Ninetales. Poliwrath here has a little. I think he also came with the Charizard. He's got a little scratch on him here, but still a very cool boy. We got the Raichu. With the foliage in the background. The Venusaur. Venusaur was my favorite. My favorite starter. Kind of like the fact that he's so chunky there. He takes up most of the art box. We got the Zapdos. Very cool. And then, these pretty much all acquired recently. With the rare boys. Which they're quite a bit more expensive now than when I should have picked them up. But as you guys know, or as you probably know, I'm usually not in a hurry to complete any particular set. And then over the last while, with the everything spiking, I kind of just ignored vintage for the time, in hopes that it would retrace. And a lot of it has. I kind of, when I'm purchasing this kind of stuff, the vintage stuff, use something like Pokemon price, and if it looks like it should, based on ignore the spike and just pretend that it just kind of gradually went up in value the way that it was prior to the absolute boom. If it's in around that range, then that's probably a good purchase, and probably as much as it's going to retrace. There's no way to predict, but that's just kind of my personal guide, I guess, to what I should be going back and purchasing now. But the thing, yeah, these are cards that I'm not going to sell, so it doesn't really matter in the end. A little bit of a gray boy on the Magnemite. Not intentional. I'm not going to get into that depth of collecting like errors and variants. I do want master sets, but I wouldn't include those. There's a lot of stuff that's just like minute errors. I would like to get a no damage nine tails. Where do those come in? The first edition and the shadowless. So stuff like that where it's like a major error. I'd be interested in grabbing those, but in terms of like all the stamp variations, like for the hollows, the thin and the thick and the gray, is just that's going to be outside of my collecting goals, unless at some point I have nothing to collect, and then those are the next option. But I think that's a long ways off. I'm still missing a ton of older reverses. So there's a lot to collect. There's a lot on my goal list that isn't those, but there you have it. There's the end. We got the shadowless Charizard. Funny fact, super fun fact. The wife had this from childhood, and when we took a look at her binder, that was in there. She's not exactly as much of a Pokemon enthusiast as I am, but that was hers. So pretty cool. Thanks guys for tuning in. Thanks for completing base set with me. Oh, we got to do the labels. The labels. How did I always forget about the labels. All right, so I think the most interesting thing about the labels is probably the fact that Alakazam, we didn't take it out to exactly see how clean it was, but it is extremely clean, especially on the back. And that was actually a 9 at one point in time. Someone cracked it to try to get the 10, and it turned into a 7. So I don't think it looks like a 7. I'm not a grader 69, but if I was, I wouldn't be giving that a 7. I think it was undergraded. I don't know what they saw. Maybe they hit the wrong button on their grading keyboard. But yeah. So we got last and an 8. We got the item finder. We got a little bit of CGC. For the most part, they were PSA graded. Again, for anyone that wasn't around prior to the boom, people were not grading anything with other companies. Not that they weren't grading with other companies. It was not an intelligent decision financially to grade with anything other than PSA. And that's why the large majority of these are PSA labels, because they were prior to the boom. And that's when, if somebody sent something in, they thought it was a 9. Like maybe it was worth sending in as a 9 to try and get a 10, or to even get a 9 might be worth it to grade it. But when you got a 7, that was an oopsie doopsie. That was hey, I'm losing money on this. It's probably gonna sell for the same price as a near mint card. But yeah, that's how grading worked before. That's probably how it's going to work from here on out, or maybe in the near future. Maybe it needs a little bit more time. But for the most part, unless it's something rare, unless it's something valuable, these little bad boys and the plastic around them, they don't add a whole lot of value. That's kind of how it works. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Thanks guys for tuning in. See you next time. Bye. Join the Discord.